everyone, and welcome to Age Perfect Beauty. My name is Vicki and I'm a professional makeup artist and hairstylist. If you're new here, on this channel we cover all things beauty related for mature women. One of the most common makeup problems that mature women deal with is trying to find foundations that cover well yet won't age you. In today's video, I'm going to demonstrate how I apply Face Atelier Ultra Foundation and why I feel it's one of the better foundations for women who have combination or dry skin. Face Atelier Ultra Foundation is a silicone-based foundation. Silicone is primer. So whenever you're using a silicone-based foundation, you really don't need to use a silicone primer underneath. In fact, if you do, what you'll find is that you're adding too many layers of silicone onto your skin, which can cause foundation to slip right off, or it can cause transfer. So you may be talking on your cell phone and notice that you've got a lot of product on the screen. That could simply be too much silicone on your skin. Now, silicone foundations are not for everyone. If you happen to have oilier type skin or acneic or excessively large pores, you're going to notice that silicone-based foundations are not ideal for you because what they do is they actually leave a bit of a sheen to the skin. You'd be looking for something that's a little more natural satin type finish. If you have combination or like me, dry, mature skin, then silicone foundations are often ideal for you because they do leave that little bit of dewiness, that little bit of sheen that can look quite youthful. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up here some of the additional names that silicone goes by so that when you're purchasing your products in the future, you'll be able to tell what is a silicone-based product compared to what isn't a silicone-based product. So without further ado, I'll show you how I apply Face Atelier Ultra Foundation. Okay, so I've prepped my skin with Q10 serum from Indeed Labs with a little bit of Neutrogena moisturizer on top, and I've given that a second to kind of penetrate into my skin. Now I'm going to be using Face Atelier Ultra Foundation in number 2, which is Ivory. And what I'm going to do is give it a good shake to begin with, because whenever you're working with a silicone-based foundation, you're going to find that the silicone and the other ingredients can separate. So you want to give it a good shake. And I'm just going to put 3 pumps, not very much, onto my hand. I like to warm up liquid products onto my hand before I apply them on my face. I just find that I end up using less product, and instead of having my face warm the product, I get it warmed up first and then I apply. I get a little bit more of a skin-like finish. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna just dab some in the center of the face. And most women, including myself, this is the area where most of us have most of our issues, whether it be broken capillaries around the nose or brown spots around the cheek or darkness underneath the eye or just simply redness like I've just naturally got on my skin. It's a good idea to start in the middle and then lightly build the product out. What you don't want to do is build too much of the product into any lines or creases. So start off a little bit heavier here and then thin it out as you go out towards the ear and down the neck. So I'm going to use a beauty blender, a dampened beauty blender, and I'm just going to start to stipple this product in. Now, you'll notice I go heavier in the center and then thinner and blend it out as I go out towards the hairline. I do go underneath the eye with the foundation, but I keep it light. I keep it really light underneath the eye. Same thing on this side. Really want to build in that product into the skin and then blend it out and then down. Now, foundation has a tendency for me and for a lot of women to get into the Marriott lines. So when that happens, I take the clean end of the beauty blender, where I don't have any product on it, and it's damp, and I just press in to those areas where I know my foundation likes to settle and not look too good. So if you do that, that'll help to lighten up that area. You'll still get the coverage, but it'll lighten up the area. Now, I have bangs, so I don't tend to put a whole lot on my forehead, but I want to just even out the skin, so I'll put a little bit up there and just blend it out. Blend it out to the hairline and on the nose as well. All around the little nooks and crannies. I mean, when you're using the Beauty Blender, or any sponge for that matter, you want to make sure that, and this has been well loved, you want to make sure that you keep it clean. I mean, this is common sense, but I go to a lot of different homes for makeup lessons and bookings, and I do see a lot of beauty blenders or Real Technique sponges that have not been cleaned in a long time. And this is like bacteria ridden. If you just leave it sitting around, it's really not going to do your face any good at all. And your makeup will suffer as well. It won't look as fresh. So keep it clean. And same with if you're using a foundation brush as well. You want to make sure that all of the products that touch the face, not just the makeup itself, are clean. Okay, so I'm happy with this. Now, this is just a nice thin layer of foundation. If you wanted to go in at this point and kick it up a little bit, you know, give yourself a little bit extra. You don't need to put it all over. Just take one more pump, warm it up, and I can see, you know, right around this part of my face needs a little bit more help, a little bit more coverage. So I'm just going to go in, dot a little bit of the foundation on there, take my Beauty Blender, stipple it in just in that area. And then blend it out. What you don't want to do with your Beauty Blender is put the product on and then swipe it off right away, because most of this product will get absorbed. Most of your foundation will get absorbed into the sponge. You're just wasting product. You want to really dig the product in, I call it stippling, into the skin, and then blend it out, just lightly. Now, silicone foundation needs a few minutes. Foundation in general needs a few minutes to kind of sink into the skin, become one with your skin. In particular, silicone foundations, you need to do this with. You need to give it a couple of minutes because silicone, as we discussed earlier, is primer, and primer is meant to sit on top of the skin. So you want to give it a minute to kind of get into the skin, sink into the skin a little bit so that it doesn't look mask-like, because when you first put it on, it will look a little bit masky. And that's not the coverage I like. I like a light to a medium coverage. I don't want to feel like I'm swimming in foundation. So I will be back in a minute and we'll finish off this look. So I've given my foundation a couple of minutes to adjust to my skin, to kind of get into my skin and make it look a little more skin-like. And I really do like the finish. I think it gives, for me, because I've got dry, mature skin, I think it gives me more of a satin natural finish. If you had more combination skin, it would give you more of a dewy finish. But I like this finish on my skin. I like it. It's not too heavy. It doesn't feel too heavy either. So now I'm going to finish off my makeup. I'm going to start with a little bit of concealer. I'm going to use MAC Pro Longwear in NW15, and I'm just going to use a little brush to kind of put it in. Now I've got areas right in here where I have a bit of a vein that's starting to pop out. Just so much fun getting older, isn't it? But I've got this vein that's starting to pop out in here, and what happens is that casts a dark shadow down underneath my eyes. So I want to kind of concentrate on getting the product in there as much as I can, getting the concealer in there the best I can. And then I just use my finger to stipple it in, to warm up that product into my skin. And concealer, like foundation or any kind of liquid product you're going to put on your face, it does need a couple of minutes also to kind of get into the skin as well and settle in. I don't add a lot. I don't really like putting a whole lot of concealer or foundation around my eyes. I think it just, because I've got lines around my eyes, I think it's just aging. But I do want a little bit of brightness. So I find that this particular concealer gives that for me. I'm just going to stipple that in as well. And just give that a second to get into the skin. And then I'm going to go in with just a nice light blush because my eyes are fairly dark. So what I want to do is go in with something that's kind of light, let my eyes be the focus today, and just go with a nice light blush. I'm going to go in with Dandelion from Benefit. And I kind of go in and do a soft C shape. This is a very natural blush. It's actually just a powder, but I use it as a blush because I'm so fair. It also has a nice finish, soft finish that works well with this foundation and the finish of this foundation. It's not too glittery. It doesn't tend to want to wander on my face too much with too much sheen on it. Just enough. Okay, then I'm going to finish with a little lip. I'm going to go in with NYX, and it's Pin-Up Pout in Almost Famous. I'm just going to use it right from the bullet to begin with, and then use a detailed brush just to make sure it gets into all the little nooks and crannies. Okay, then I'm just going to go in with, this is just a Real Techniques detail brush. I use it for either concealer or lipstick. In this case, I'm just going to use it for my lips. And I get into the corners. All right, can't talk while I'm doing my lipstick. Okay, so there you have it. There's the finished look. Now I'd like to hear from you. I'd like to know what your pain points are when it comes to foundation. I know that there's a lot of women out there that have a lot of issues when it comes to foundation, and I'm not able to cover them all in just one video. So please feel free to comment below with what your issues are, and I will try to answer them the best I can. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time on Age Perfect Beauty.